Yesterday I watched a live stream by anti-white, anti-British hate group Stand Up to Racism. Stand Up to Racism are an openly violent organisation that try and organise attacks on peaceful demos and innocent people just because they disagree politically. Among the speakers were Diane Abbott and Jeremy Corbyn, until recently senior members of the Labour Party, and both still currently MPs. Basically, the video was about how blacks have been affected by the COVID-19 virus, and trying to make a big deal out of that, and trying to make out that blacks are overwhelmingly the victims of COVID-19. But something I've noticed travelling around and working around London during the pandemic is that blacks and Asians are significantly less likely to social distance than whites are, meaning that they're more likely to contract COVID-19, more likely to die from it, but also more likely to recover from it and build up immunities to it. So although at the moment blacks have been disproportionately catching and dying COVID-19, their communities would have built up immunities a lot quicker than the white community. So what we're likely to see is that to taper away, and towards the end of the pandemic there being significantly less blacks dying of COVID-19 than whites. Also, I would have thought that most of the people dying in care homes are most probably whites. So what's happening at the moment, there's lots of news articles and all that talking about how blacks have been disproportionately affected, and what I would have thought is, as the statistics change towards the end of the pandemic, there'll be a media silence on it, and then for years to come people will be quoting the media articles earlier in the pandemic. I've made some previous videos where I've travelled around Norbury and West Croydon, and I've seen shops that are packed, I've seen shops selling food off the pavement, I've seen groups gathering, and it's virtually all been ethnic minorities. If they're not social distancing, and they can hardly blame white people, they can't. I think it's sickening that Stand Up to Racism and the Labour Party are trying to blame the NHS and accusing the NHS of racism by saying that blacks are disproportionately expected to work in high risk environments. The National Health Service is supposedly one of the most anti-racist employers in Britain. The unions are very strong in the NHS, and I find it impossible to believe that blacks are asked to go into dangerous situations where whites wouldn't be. I'm sure after the pandemic statistics will be available to prove this or disprove this. If I'm wrong, I'll gladly apologise, and I believe that people like Diane Abbott and the scum at Stand Up to Racism should apologise as well. It's sickening that in a pandemic they'd be attacking the NHS.